to the Megacast. I'm Tyler Keefe in the studios of our flagship stations, 89.3 Lakes FM and Civic Center TV on Comcast Channel 15 and AT&T Channel 99, where you can also find us in the Birmingham-Bloomfield area, on Birmingham Area Municipal Access, and on City Cable 15 of Southfield. Join us live on Channel 10 in Waterford every day on the Media Network of Waterford, and live to tape on Channel 10 in Orion Township and Lake Orion on Orion Neighborhood Television, otherwise known as ONTV. You can also find us on the radio in the Birmingham, Bloomfield, and Troy areas on 88.1 The Biff, a service of the Bloomfield Hills School District. Find us online on our Facebook pages at Civic Center TV 15 and at Lakes FM, on our website at civiccentertv.com, and on My Michigan TV or MyMy at mymytv.com, MYMITV.com, where you can also learn more information about where you can download their free apps for your smartphones and smart TVs. All that information is on our website at civiccentertv.com/megacast, where you can also find all of our programs on demand and find each individual interview as well. Then let's head over to our news page at civiccentertv.com/local-news, where we have links to the most up-to-date information on COVID-19 from reliable expert resources at the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, the Michigan Department of Health and Human Services, and the Oakland County Health Division, so that you can stay up to date on everything you need to know about the spread of COVID-19, precautionary tactics such as masking and other tactics you can take to prevent COVID-19 from yourself and those in your family, such as vaccinations and booster shots, where you can receive them in your local area all across the state of Michigan. Also on our news page at civiccentertv.com/local-news, we feature articles from outlets all across the state of Michigan in order to keep you updated on COVID-19 and other stories making headlines in the Great Lakes state. Our top story today is from Bridge, Michigan's Carly Graham and Jared Ramsey. Oxford High School is testing an AI gun detection system in the wake of the mass shooting last November. 6 months following the deadly shooting at Oxford High School that resulted in 4 students dying and 8 additional injuries, the school district is experimenting with a new technology to detect guns with help of artificial intelligence. The security enhancement is part of a free year-long pilot program with Zero Eyes, a tech security company using artificial intelligence technology to identify guns that can be seen on security cameras and alert police and security guards of potential threats. After the artificial intelligence software program identifies a gun, an alert is immediately sent to a team of Zero Eyes employees who determine whether the gun is real. If they confirm that it is a threat, a text notification is sent to the school security officials and local law enforcement in 3 to 5 seconds, according to the company. In the pilot phase of the program, the system will only monitor cameras at Oxford High School. The school currently has more than 100 cameras, according to Jill Lemond, Assistant Superintendent of Safety and Operations for Oxford, and all of them have been synced with the artificial intelligence. Students aren't likely to even notice the security enhancement. Oxford began trainings for the system in March, and it has been in operation since April 13th, according to Lemon's report. The shooter, who was 15 at the time and 16 currently, is charged with multiple counts of first-degree murder and other charges in connection with the November 30th shooting. On security footage, the then 15-year-old can be seen walking the high school hallways, shooting at students for 4 to 5 minutes. He fired more than 30 rounds, according to police as well. The new system wouldn't have prevented the shootings necessarily. Police have believe the alleged assailant had a gun hidden in his backpack, and the AI system can only recognize guns that have been seen on camera. The goal of the system isn't prevention, but to more quickly alert authorities of danger in order to limit casualties. Just how much quicker that notification could be made isn't entirely clear. Police began receiving calls about the Oxford High School shooting from those in the building within 1 minute of the shots being fired, compared to the security company's estimate of notifying police within 5 seconds using their artificial intelligence. That's a small savings in time, but seconds count during a mass shooting. Oxford started working with Zero Eyes as the district looked for innovative solutions to bolster its existing security protocols. The school district received the software for free and has access to the system through the duration of the 2022-2023 school year. So not this current school year, but the next school year over. It will remain free for the Oxford Community School District for their high school. The program was recommended to the school district after the security firm Secure Education Consultants recommended a weapon detection system in its March 2022 report of Oxford's safety measures. Quote, "We have always paid great attention to safety. This isn't a new thing since November 30th, and closed quote, said Lemond, who continued on by saying, quote, "We're just looking to at even better solutions, end closed quote. Previously, cameras were monitored by the school's security team, which consists of 2 school resource officers, an armed security guard, and a private security firm. The team has an office with monitors that view all cameras, Lemon said. Zero Eyes was founded by former Navy SEALs and military personnel in 2018, following the shooting at Marjorie Stoneman Douglas High School in Parkland, Florida. The company primarily focuses on K-12 security, but is moving toward having it at more colleges as well, Chief Operating Officer Rob Huberty said in a statement. The technology is also in some malls and company headquarters as well. Oxford will have to pay for the services if they continue working with Zero Eyes past the 2022-2023 school year. The company did not comment on the current price of the software, but Huberty said last year at Oviedo High School in Seminole County, Florida, that the gun detection had an MSRP value of $50 per month per camera. The cost of an entire year of Zero Eyes software would tally about $60,000 in a school with 100 cameras such as Oxford High School, according to the price given by Huberty last year. Quote, "We are trying to make this as affordable as possible, affordable as we possibly can do," Huberty said, continuing on. "We believe it needs to be ubiquitous. It needs to be everywhere, because if it is, we can actually do something," end closed quote. Since the 1999 massacre at Columbine High School in Colorado that left 13 dead, schools across the country have attempted to harden their buildings. Many schools now keep doors locked, with visitors required to be buzzed in. Students in all grades go through active shooter drills, and classrooms often have devices that can prevent entry. Still, in the 23 years since Columbine, there have been 304 shootings in U.S. schools. The announcement of the partnership came in the same week that the families of 2 victims of the Oxford High School shootings, Justin Schilling and Tate Mears' family, along with families of 4 surviving students, filed a federal lawsuit against the school district, saying Oxford officials could have done more to prevent the school shootings. This lawsuit is the second against the school district since the shootings, although additional lawsuits have been directed at individual Oxford officials. Justin Hines, an assistant professor of health behavior at the University of Michigan and part of the university's National Center for School Safety, or NCSS, said gun identification technology could help speed up response times during a crisis, but said the system has limitations because it does not serve as an active deterrent to school threats and their main causes. He said upstream related efforts that identify characteristics of a possible suspect to prevent a tragedy, such as having strong mental health resources, ways for students to report possible threats, and teachers being informed of signs, should be used in conjunction with the software to ensure that the school is actively trying to prevent incidents rather than just responding quickly to them. Hines also said Oxford should have a plan in place in case the Zero Eyes program does detect a tangible threat, and communicate with law enforcement to deal with the ripple effects throughout the school community. Quote, "It might be simple to say, yes, we're applying a software that will allow us to identify when a weapon is coming to school, but at the same time, there's a lot about the school culture, a lot about the learning environment that needs to be brought into consideration following the implementation," said Hines. Additionally, on our local news page on civiccentertv.com, from Jasmine Barmore of the Detroit Free Press, college-bound Metro Detroit grads are set to get potentially $500 individual scholarships. Metro Detroit college-bound freshmen are being celebrated on Wednesday of this week at the annual Young Gifted and College-Bound community-wide graduation and college send-off ceremony at the Aretha Franklin Amphitheater. More than $15,000 in scholarships will be awarded to college-bound students who attend, according to a news release. The hope, said one of the officials, is to give each student $500. Quote, "We're not making this a needs-based scholarship. We are making this academic-based," the president of Rates Production, which is putting on the event, said. "You students have accepted the admission into college, and we got you," end closed quote. A spokesperson for Huntington Bank, one of the sponsors for the event, said it is important, quote, "to support and empower youth who will serve as our future leaders," end closed quote. Continuing on in a statement from Huntington, quote, "Huntington is a long-standing partner with the Aretha, serving as a sponsor for the last few years," said Latrice McClendon, Huntington's Detroit market executive and community president, in a closed quote. She continued on by saying, quote, "The Aretha is an iconic cornerstone of the community and has a long history of supporting the city and its residents. At Huntington, we are dedicated to empowering our future leaders, and we are excited to support this year's Young Gifted College-Bound Scholarship," end closed quote. Mousy, the previous official quoted, whose company manages the theater and created the event, said the idea of helping students in Detroit came after she saw an event at a grandson's orientation for Morehouse College in Atlanta. She says the event charged the incoming students and parents with figuring out what the next phase of life would be about. It made such an impact on her, she said, that it made her think it would be great to support students from her hometown. Quote, "It was so moving that I thought it would be great to have an event in Detroit where we as a community can charge our young people as they go away to college," and close quote. The mother of 4 sons said, continuing on, "When they leave here, they are not just representing themselves, but their families and their entire community. So we as a community can give them some words of wisdom and some money to help launch them into the next phase of their life. Students must be present and registered to win." She said her plan is to give each student $500, but no matter what, no student will leave empty-handed, and closed quote. She then said, quote, "Detroit produces great people, and we want to invest in our young people as they launch and call them to return," and closed quote. To register a student or donate to the event, go to thearetha.com. Doors for the event open at 5 o'clock. Again, that event is on Wednesday. More information, thearetha.com. We have one more headline on our website at civiccentertv.com/local-news. Highly encourage you to read it. Some sad news from the Detroit Zoo, where one of their beloved long-standing animals on display over there has passed away. You can read that full article as well as all our other articles from today's program and every program of the Megacast this week on civiccentertv.com's local news page, where you'll also find helpful links to accurate information on COVID-19 from the CDC, the MDHHS, and the Oakland County Health Division. We have a great program ahead on this Tuesday edition of the Megacast. Coming up next, we'll be joined by Oakland County's Elementary School Teacher of the Year, followed by 3 individuals from West Bloomfield Township who will tell you about a special partnership with the Detroit Institute of Arts that's bringing art into towns all throughout the Tri-County area this summer. That's all up next on the Oakland County Megacast.
I couldn't breathe at all. There was lots of talk about putting me on a ventilator. I thought I was gonna die. I was 39 weeks pregnant and had a scheduled C-section. During that time, I got COVID and was hospitalized for a month. I had a blood clot in my lungs. It caused me to go into right-sided heart failure. I was really scared. I kept texting my husband and my mom, telling them how scared I was, and I was worried that he was gonna grow up without a mom. And then I was worried if, when I did get home, that he wouldn't know who I was. You know, being 27 and a mom and a wife and having that all almost taken away from me. It's scary, and if a vaccine can prevent that from happening, why not? Get your vaccine. I don't want this to happen to anybody else.
A message from the staff of Michigan's Crime Victim Compensation Program.
Anyone can be a victim of crime
and suffer lasting trauma, physically, emotionally, and financially.
But you are not alone.
If you're struggling financially due to a crime,
we're here
for you.
Find out if you qualify for crime victim compensation.
Call 877-251-7373 or visit michigan.gov/crime victim.
A message from the Michigan Department of Health and Human Services, Division of Victim Services.
You see certain things get reincarnated in your children. My daughter is very much inspired by my wife's artistic pursuits. So my daughter started making necklaces. She makes what we call affirmation fashion. I tell her every day that your black is beautiful. Your black is beautiful. Your black is beautiful. And if there's anything better than being beautiful, it's being smart. And if there's anything better than being smart, it's being kind. And reaffirming that every day is our method of making sure her chin never drops. My dad wasn't around, and I remember riding a bike and falling off and cutting myself, and me never just wanting to get back on it. People ask, how your children learn how to ride a bike, and you did. I didn't teach them. I just created an environment where they taught themselves, and all I had to do was be there.
Whether you're the city,
the county,
or the Huron River Watershed Council.
As partners, working together to protect our water resources, we agree.
Pet waste is the source of harmful bacteria in the Huron River.
When it's left on the ground, it can wash into the storm drains.
These lead directly to our streams. No filters, no treatment.
Here's one thing we know that can help keep our water clean.
Pick up pet waste and trash it.
pick up pet waste and trash it.
So pick up pet waste and trash it.
There's one water, and it's ours to protect.
Who is struggling right now?
I am.
My son is.
Many are struggling with anxiety, depression, and substance use. Before it becomes a crisis, reach out to MyCal, the Michigan Crisis and Access Line for free confidential support 24/7. Available in the Upper Peninsula and Oakland County. Just call or text 1-844-44-MyCal or chat online at michigan.gov/MyCal. A message from the Michigan Department of Health and Human Services.
Motorcyclists are hard to see. To keep everyone safer, it's important to always look for them and know where most crashes occur. 84% of motorcycle and vehicle crashes happen on streets, not highways. And most crashes with motorcyclists occur when vehicle drivers are turning left. So before turning, especially to the left, make sure you look for motorcyclists. Then look again. It could save a life.
If you are struggling to afford internet service for your household, there is a new government program that may be able to help. It's called the Affordable Connectivity Program, and it provides up to a $30 monthly discount to qualifying households. Find more information about the program, including if you qualify and how to enroll at fcc.gov/ACP or call toll-free at 877-384-2575. That's 877-384-2575.
The Greater West Bloomfield Cable Communications Commission has more information. Visit gwbcable.org.
To Sofia and Gabriel. Even though these old knees can't follow on your adventure to the forest today, these flowers represent my love. These stitches and threads join us together. And wherever you see a flower, a bird, a beautiful tree, know that my love is with you.
Make the forest part of your story at a park near you. Find one at discovertheforest.org.
72.7% of high school students get less than the recommended 7 to 9 hours of sleep a night. This can cause pain, obesity, and can very negatively affect your mental health. When you have a consistent 7 to 9 hours of sleep every day, you get sick less often, lose more weight, and have better relationships with those around you. For more information about the dangers of sleep deprivation, go to sleepfoundation.org. This message is brought to you by the WBHS Digital Media Arts Program and 89.3 Lakes FM.
If you are struggling to afford internet service for your household, there is a new government program that may be able to help. It's called the Affordable Connectivity Program, and it provides up to a $30 monthly discount to qualifying households. Find more information about the program, including if you qualify and how to enroll at fcc.gov/ACP or call toll-free at 877-384-2575. That's 877-384-2575.
The Greater West Bloomfield Cable Communications Commission has more information. Visit gwbcable.org.
Can I ask you a question?
Why did you get your kids vaccinated?
It was hard for them to social distance, to be isolated from their friends.
I want them to get back to school and sports games. So as a pediatrician, I recommend the vaccine to everyone I know.
The boys lost a former teammate and classmate who was only 20 years old. It's been a devastating year.
We want to get back to normalcy. Our daughter is really looking forward to being with her friends, being a kid.
It's the Great Lakes water. And so what people do ends up in our waterways.
Flushable wipes are just evil. They should be thrown away. They're impossible to destroy, and then they can cause significant problems.
One of the main things when you're cooking is to not dump fats, oils, and greases down your drains.
They stick to the sides of pipes, they stick to everything they come in contact with. Don't put it down the sink.
There's one water, and it's ours to protect.
Welcome back to the Oakland County Megacast. I'm Tyler Keefe. To learn more about the program at civiccentertv.com/megacast, where you'll also find information on our entire network of stations, including My Michigan TV. Well, over the next several months, communities all throughout Oakland County, as well as surrounding counties, in partnership with the Detroit Institute of Arts, will have recreations of classical art pieces on display all throughout their community. To talk about that in West Bloomfield, but also some related information about the overall program that's called Inside Out through the Detroit Institute of Arts, we're pleased to be joined by Kathy Russ from the West Bloomfield Township Public Library, as well as West Bloomfield's clerk and treasurers, Debbie Binder and Terry Weingard, with us on the Oakland County Megacast. Ladies, thank you all so much for being with us today.
Hi, Tyler. Good to be here.
Yeah, good to have you all with us. So, earlier on just recently, we had the DIA on the program with us. We had Amanda Harrison from the DIA of Oakland County to talk about this project. Can each of you talk about the Inside Out program and efforts by each of you, along with others involved in West Bloomfield Township and in other surrounding areas, to make this project a reality and bring some of these art pieces that are reproductions, but still representations of these pieces to Oakland County, to many different locations throughout the county? Let's start with you, Kathy.
Oh, sure. So I have been part of the DIA Inside Out program as a group of people, bringing it to the community of Troy when I was director at the Troy Public Library. And I had worked with the city's community affairs director and the Parks and Recreation director to bring that to Troy. So I got an email that said that the DIA was accepting applications for the 2022 season for Inside Out. So I reached out to Jen Tucker at Parks and Debbie and Terry and said, hey, what do you think? Do you want to try this? And I think it might have been Jen, but it might have even been Debbie or Terry who had been kind of thinking along those lines already. So it was like a very synergistic partnership. We were all on the same page right off the bat. And Jen and I worked on the application with help from Debbie and Terry. I'm fairly new still to the community, so I wanted to make sure, I was understanding and hitting the high points. So I would say it's very definitely a collaborative project, and we all felt really we really hoped that we would get it because we knew this would be a great thing to bring to the community.
And so for you, Debbie, same question for you. Can you talk about being involved in the Inside Out program and why this was something that when it was brought to your attention and to the township's attention, that it became an immediate interest and something that could not only be something impressive for the residents of West Bloomfield, but something that could attract other people to visit West Bloomfield in these many different locations?
It was something that I had thought about before, and just time kept me from getting it done. When Kathy brought it to our attention, it was an exciting moment for two reasons. It was an exciting moment for the opportunity, and it was an exciting moment because of the team that got to work together. And we have one of our committee members here, I wouldn't call it, I guess, an ad hoc committee, but is under the weather right now. But we worked with Jen Tucker, and we had the ability to bring a collaboration of the library, the parks, and town hall together to bring something to the community that we thought would really add enrichment to the lives of our residents, and also make our residents who may or may not be aware of the DIA aware of all of the offerings of the DIA. I think it's a win-win as far as something for our community. And I think that the other win is that the four of us working together brought some really cool opportunities to the community. So I think there will be many more to come. We had a great time working together. It was a wonderful collaboration, and I think that the community will only benefit from this team working together.
And then Terry, we know that West Bloomfield has an affinity for art. It plays host to the Orchard Lake Fine Art Show every summer as well. And so when you and the rest of the committee in West Bloomfield were discussing going and trying for the Inside Out program and discussing with the DIA, what made, in your arguments, West Bloomfield one of those perfect locations to bring some of these recreated art pieces into different spots in Oakland County?
Yeah, so thanks so much, Tyler. As Debbie and Kathy have indicated, first of all, it's just so great that we're working so collaboratively with the library and parks. I mean, really, we make up the community, and to the community, there is no designation. So being able to figure out a way to bring back this program, which we've had before, but it's been quite a few years. I remember I first found out about it when I was walking through Marshbank Park, which is just such a beautiful jewel in our community, with my closest friend. And we stepped out of a path, and there in front of us was a beautiful recreation of some art from the DIA. I remember we just stopped and we're like, wow, art, nature, West Bloomfield, yay. I mean, it was so nice to have art in our community. And especially nowadays, people are getting into these immersive art exhibitions, which are really pretty cool. What's nice about things like this is it really gets families to kind of feel like art is more a part of their daily life. I mean, think about it. You're just on a walk with your kids and your dog, and there's some beautiful art. You stop by one of our beautiful sites, like maybe you go to the West Bloomfield Library for like a story time, or you stop by Parks and Rec to plan camp for your kid, and then all of a sudden there's this gorgeous work of art. For instance, one of my family's favorites over the years is called the hazelnut. I think it's called, let me see. I put my glasses on to make sure I'm getting it right. Yeah, it's called the hazelnuts. And it's a beautiful piece of art with these two girls just kind of like sitting on the grass. And for some reason, because I have two girls, we always really identified with this one. And there were a few other works of art we really liked. And we would go to the DIA, and then we'd find these works of art. And we'd also look to see if maybe things that in the art museum reminded us of things in our own life or family members. It's really fun. There was another work that actually in it, one of the girls in the art looked exactly like my daughter at that age. So I think that once you find the art in your own environment, it kind of tickles a fancy to go see some more. And the DIA is an amazing art museum that, you know, is a part of the Oakland County Millage. So our community can go there for free. So it's really a wonderful resource, and we're so excited to have it. And I so appreciate working on this with Parks and Library and Debbie, and it's just been a great experience.
And so, Debbie, as this program is soon to be underway and in West Bloomfield and other areas in Oakland County, as the township, as this committee, and in the discussions with the DIA are talking about different places to put some of these works of art, what sort of factor played into it in creating attractions in West Bloomfield Township and trying to bring people in, not only, of course, to attract the eye of the residents, to greater engage in their community, but also bring other people in to explore West Bloomfield, to patronize West Bloomfield and its businesses and its parks and other locations? What factor did that play into the ultimate decision of these different locations and these different art pieces that will be displayed by the DIA in West Bloomfield?
In terms of the discussion, again, that was a team discussion. We were looking at our community and the diversity that we represent. It was an on-site walk around and plan with the DIA. So we did, it wasn't just a let's talk, it was a let's walk and look at locations and discuss what we were looking to accomplish by bringing the art to our community. One of the things was having diversity represented in the choices. Since we are one of the more diverse communities in Michigan, we thought that having a diverse background of artists would also be something that was appealing to our residents. And we also were looking at locations, maybe getting into areas that were less populated, perhaps. And, you know, people always come to the downtown area, but how do we get them out more on, you know, we know they're going to the trail, but let's put something at the trail. Let's put something at the West Acres Library. Let's get people moving around the community more. We looked to, you know, Kathy in the library and Jen in Parks to really help with the programming. As much as we love to believe that people come here because the board's just so fabulous, the reality is they really come here because of our parks and our library and the programming and resources they provide. So that was where the value of the partnership came into play to help with that. But again, going back to, we had two clear goals. One was to represent the community with the art choices, and two was to make sure that that different areas of the community had the opportunity to experience that art and bring people who may not have ever been to the West Acres Library. I mean, everyone knows the main library, but they may have never gone to the West Acres Library. Now they have a solid reason to go over to West Acres and see the piece of art that's there, and also discover the beautiful and tranquil resources that the West Acres Library has.
We're also joined by Terry Weingarten, West Bloomfield Township Treasurer, also on the Michigan Megacast. Terry, what are some of the locations in West Bloomfield that some of these pieces will be located at if people are interested in engaging in this program right in West Bloomfield?
Right. So thanks again, Tyler. So as I mentioned, my family loves the painting the hazelnuts. That one is at the Parks and Recreation Center. We also have Blue Madonna, which is a very interesting work of art that I wasn't familiar with. So I'm excited about that one. That one's at the West Bloomfield Township Library, the main branch. Then at the West Acres branch, we have Night Shift, which is more of a photographic piece from the Pontiac Assembly Plant. So that's a nice one. And then what's really great too is in some of the parks, we of course have landscapes. So at Marchbank Park, we have Bank of the Oise et Auvers, which is a Vincent van Gogh. And then at the West Bloomfield Nature Preserve on Arrowhead, we have Winter Landscape in Moonlight. And then at the Drake Sports Park, we have the Wedding Dance, which probably some people in our community are familiar with. It's kind of a well-known painting. So we really got some gems. And what's interesting too is when you look at them, of course, they're recreations, but they're vibrant. I mean, they really do look like the originals. And it's just really a great way to have like a hands-on experience. And you know how the young people are going around and look at their Google games where they would go from site to site? We have 6 sites, so maybe this could be a little bit of a treasure hunt, an art treasure hunt for our residents to see all the pieces.
We're joined by Terry Weingarten, West Bloomfield Township Treasurer, as well as Debbie Binder, the Township Clerk, and then Kathy Russ, Director of the West Bloomfield Township Public Library. And Kathy, as you said, when you worked as the Director of the Troy Public Library, the Inside Out program did come to Troy. What was the reaction from the folks in Troy to this program, and then from the city also, and having these different recreations of iconic pieces of art as attractions in the city?
Oh, it was nothing but positive. I mean, everybody loved it, enjoyed it. In fact, I think there were a lot of people who had asked us, if I remember, if we could keep them and keep them forever. And it was like, well, no, they have to go to other communities. The DIA takes them back and tries to share the wealth. But I think what it does is it makes an argument for public art. That public art really does bring so much to the community. These pieces are on loan to us. We have them for several months, then they'll go back to the DIA and next year be used in another community. But that public art enhances a walk in the park, enhances your entrance to the library, your visit to the recreation department, wherever you happen to be. It gives you something different to look at. It gives you something to think about. Just brings that cultural dimension to your life that you might not be paying attention to or notice, or just maybe, just adds it where it isn't there. So I think we're all hoping that that's the experience that people in West Bloomfield have, just that it enhances their lives and is something fun and enjoyable for families to do, for individuals to do, just for everybody to enjoy.
Inside Out by the Detroit Institute of Arts can be found in 3 different counties throughout southeastern Michigan, in Wayne County, in Macomb County, and in Oakland County, in places such as West Bloomfield Township. More information on dia.org/insideout. That's dia.org/insideout, or by visiting the township's website, wbtownship.org, or the library's website, wblib.org. And Kathy, as we engage with this event, as you've seen the impact it had in Troy, in that city, and at your library over there, now, and knowing that the township has such a love and appreciation for art, does that inspire more events to then pop up in the near future through the library or through other organizations, as you speak with others in the committee, to continue to engage the community through art?
Oh, sure. So one of the things that I think is so great about this program is the DIA program is it lends itself to programming, certainly for the library and certainly for parks. And I think at some point, Jen Tucker, I'm sure, will be a guest on your program so she can talk about all the great things that Parks is doing. I do want to mention, in addition, Tyler, to the websites that you mentioned, the Parks Department does have a map of all of the pieces on their website. It's wbparks.org/DIA. And it's a great map because it shows all the different locations, but it also shows you a small representation of each piece, and you can see where each piece is. So I just want to make sure to get that out there. But in terms of programming, yes, the library, the timing was great for this program because it's in tandem with our summer reading program. And this is the first year since the pandemic that we are restarting in-person programming. So we really put a lot of thought into ways that we can gather people safely, but do some special events around these pieces. And I don't know if, is it okay if I talk more about those?
Sure, absolutely.
Okay. So we have a program called Inside Out People in Place, and an art expert named Karen Imaricio is coming to do a program for us. It's the same program, once on June 2nd and once on August 4th. But she's going to take each piece and give the history of it, talk about the cultural things that were going on at the times the piece was created or photographed or what have you. And so if anybody is interested in learning more about individual pieces, this would be a great program for that. And then we've also got, because the piece at the West Acres branch is a photograph, it's called Inside Out Photography. And that's on July 7th. And it talks more about the importance of photography in the art world. You know, sometimes people think, oh, it's just a picture, it's just a photograph. Well, photography is art. And so we talk more about that, and then specifically about the piece at West Acres, which is called Night Shift Pontiac Assembly, about assembly line production in Pontiac at the plant by Russ Marshall. So those are two programs. The one that I think is just really fun and creative, those are education informative programs, but if you really want to get your creativity on, we have tiny art kits. And tiny art is just what it sounds like. You paint a little teeny picture. So you can pick up the kits at the library starting on July 18th, and you can take them home and you can paint your little masterpiece and then bring it back to the library, and we're going to display them all. So so you can create your own masterpiece and we will display it for you at the library.
We're joined by Kathy Russ, Debbie Weingarten, all from West Bloomfield Township, talking about the DIA's Inside Out program. Thank you all very much for joining us. We are going to have to wrap up at this moment for this interview. But for those of you that would like to learn more about the DIA's Inside Out program, both in Oakland County and West Bloomfield Township and several other communities in Oakland County, as well as surrounding areas, so you can see art all around southeastern Michigan, visit the DIA's website at dia.org/insideout. That's dia.org/insideout. We're going to continue to mix things up a little bit here. I had to shuffle a few things around today with some exits from the program last minute, but that's okay. The show must go on, and that it does. We'll be joined next by Pete Stenger from Togo Tiki Software, talking technology, how he is helping, and his business are helping other companies take their video and take their promotional materials to the next level using AI and using 3D technology, 360 technology as well. That's all coming up next on the Oakland County Megacast.
People are getting out to walk and bike in higher numbers. More vulnerable road users and higher speed traffic can be a dangerous combination. Crash severity has increased, so if you're driving, be sure to slow down and look for people. There's no need to speed. If you're biking, ride with traffic. If you're walking, avoid stepping into the road if possible. If you have to walk in the street, walk facing traffic. Learn more at walkbikedrivesafe.org.
When times get dark, we can't see the help that's all around us. When you don't know where to turn, let 211 be your guiding light.
211, how can I help you?
Our guides are ready to connect you with the help you need. For help with food, healthcare, mental health, and other resources, call 211 or visit 211.org. 211. Get connected, get help.
Parents do a lot of worrying. Get your kids caught up on childhood vaccines to protect them from these 14 preventable diseases, and you'll have 14 fewer things to worry about. Vaccines are safe and effective and save lives. So let's get caught up on vaccines and worry about something else. Get the facts at ivaccinate.org.
Welcome back to the Oakland County Megacast. I'm Tyler Keefe. To learn more about the program at civiccentertv.com/megacast, where you'll find more information on our entire network of stations, including My Michigan TV. Again, the website, civiccentertv.com. Click on our Megacast link or type in civiccentertv.com. Well, whether you are advertising, providing educational materials, or something else that involves video, companies are trying to take that entertainment and that informational technology to the next level. And one company out of the Bloomfield area is doing just that, helping these companies with interactive experiences and 360-degree experiences in the video and other materials as well. We're joined now by Pete Stenger from Togo Tiki Software, located in the Bloomfield area. Pete, thank you for being with us today.
Hey, Tyler, thanks for having me. It's great to be here.
Yeah, appreciate having you on. So first of all, just give us a little bit of your background and the basic information about your company.
Well, my background's kind of interesting. I'm actually a CPA by trade who got into software development about 15 years ago. And on that journey, got into kind of the world of photography, which led me to realize that there's a kind of a lack of capabilities in the area of delivering interactive content. And so I started using my software development background, this new company, to help deliver interactive content 360 to people in a really easy way without having to do any software coding.
So when you say interactive content, and when you talk about 360-degree content, define that for us, because interactive can mean so many different things, especially when it comes with video. What sort of projects does your company work on in that sense?
Okay, so if I think of just a traditional video, we think of it as a linear storytelling process. As the viewer, you have a few options. You can hit play, you can hit pause, you can stop, right? Well, in an interactive one, we can actually make the content that you're watching and your interaction with that content change the storyline. So for example, the video has you walking into a building and the narration says, do you want to go to the right or to the left? You can interact, and by choosing right or left, you can actually direct the storyline to be different, kind of a gamification of a video. So the applications for that we're working on have to do with education and training and resort and spatial marketing. The other aspect of what we're working on that you kind of touched on there is that 360 element. So if you're not familiar with what we mean by 360 imagery, it is a special type of camera that takes a picture in all directions at one time. And it could be a video or a still image. People often are accustomed to seeing this maybe in home tours, particularly during COVID. People would be able to go through a house and see each room in 360. So we've combined that with the video capabilities so that your 360 image can come to life a little bit more by having the video content, the narration experience along with it to really help give telepresence, I guess.
And so what goes into making these different videos? Because I would imagine you have to consider all possible avenues when you're telling one story versus the other. It's even just one environment versus the other, especially if you're mentioning like home tours or for educational purposes. So just how much planning and execution and what kind of brainstorming goes into creating these videos for these clients?
That's a really good question, because as we've gotten into this area, we've discovered that that's a kind of a new skill set that people are needing to develop. So if you take a typical home tour, that's a fairly easy format to imagine. You've got a front door, you're going to walk into the home, you're going to see maybe the ground floor, and then you're going to take people up to some bedrooms. Pretty easy, and as they go through, you're allowing them to maybe interact with that space in a 360 format. Go into the kitchen and now turn around and be able to see the full kitchen. Very easy. But when you're talking about like education or medical applications, it gets a little bit more, it needs a lot more of a creative whiteboarding process. And where we find that that's helpful is to kind of go in reverse if you're dealing with an educator to say, okay, what are your primary learning objectives you want to achieve? And where do you see the greatest failure rate with people not understanding the content? And those create your off-ramps where you need to be able to provide some remedial content, maybe giving people some more background. Some people are going to get it and not need it. Some people might. And so putting question and answer type interaction into the video can really help drive that experience.
We're joined by Pete Stenger, co-founder of Togo Tiki Software Company, joining us on the Oakland County Megacast. More information on their website, togotiki.com. That's togotiki.com for more information. And so how does this system work for your clients then? Because when they're coming in, they have, I would imagine, very specific things that they want to be interactive or they want to be 360. So just how flexible are these projects for these different businesses, especially for those storytellers that would like to not just tell a story in a linear fashion like you mentioned earlier, but tell it in a way that it's kind of like a web. It has so many different routes that you can go and sub-routes that you can take to tell a similar story or a mix of several stories in one environment.
Yeah, so we've kind of taken a unique approach to this. We wanted no coding. The people who use the system don't have to have any software coding experience. They can load up their videos and their images into our file library. We do all the processing to get them ready for streaming. And then through a drag and drops tool, they kind of assemble those pieces and are able to draw the linkage between them. The other thing that we've done that's unique is at each point that there's a link between two pieces of media, we've created a unique URL at that point. So basically a unique website link, which that then allows, and every point is a point of entry. So if you are writing a story and you want to be able to allow some people to come into the story at the end or in the middle, you have all those entry points. So it really creates kind of a unique way to kind of jump into an educational process or into a story. If, for example, if you were doing something maybe in education, you don't need to have someone watch the entire series if all they need to understand is a particular topic that's 3/4 of the way through. You can directly send them to that point of interactivity and shorten that time.
We're joined by Pete Stenger, co-founder of Togo Tiki Software Company. More information on their website, togotiki.com, as they join us here on the Megacast today. And so for the storytelling element in particular, for education too, what are some of these uses that have been executed using this system, using this software? What are some examples of some of these videos that are being used, and what's the reaction from your clients?
So one of the videos that I think is really a neat use case was a hand surgeon who had prepared a 20-minute video that was intended for the medical professional community on the conditions and treatments of various hand diseases, carpal tunnel syndrome, trigger finger, things like that. And what he realized was he wanted to be able to communicate more effectively with his patients, lay people, about the various conditions, symptoms, and treatment options. And he had this 20-minute video. So we took that video and we retooled its content, made it interactive so that it was accessible to someone who doesn't have a medical background. He could direct them specifically to the section if they were being treated for carpal tunnel. Go right to this section. I give you the options to look at the treatments, the conditions, the symptoms, and your options, and they could navigate around. We've all had that experience. We've been to the doctor's office, we listen, we hear, and we get to the car, and we've got 5 more questions, or we don't remember. So this really was an interesting project to deliver not only content to the patient before they met with the doctor, but a take-home that they could go revisit.
And so what sort of impact are you seeing on your clients who are choosing these products and services versus a more linear method of training or of educating or of telling a story? How has utilizing your product, your software, benefited them in their eyes?
Their feedback from their viewers and their audience is that they really like the experience of being able to choose the content they want to engage with. The retention levels for the content goes up. Video in general is a great learning format because you are not only seeing and using your eyes and your ears, which are 2 auditory memory actions, but when you add the physical action of being able to move in and the decision-making process, you improve retention and comprehension. So people are more likely to remember your product, remember your service, and hopefully make that purchase decision right in the video because you can have the buy now button right there.
We're joined by Pete Stenger, the co-founder of Togo Tiki Software Company, joining us on the Megacast. More information on the website, togotiki.com. That's togotiki.com. And I understand that for those that may be interested in trying out this interactive video software, that you do have a free trial available.
Yeah. There's a free 30-day trial and free demos, free training sessions. You can go on our website, click it. You'll get with myself or John or any of the other people that we can get you up and running really quick. And so you can experiment and see how it goes.
And I also understand, too, that you do some work with nonprofits, or your services could be very helpful for nonprofits. Can you explain that relationship, how that developed, and how you are helping these organizations that are really in a great need right now, especially starting to come out of the throes of the pandemic?
Yeah, so for example, just yesterday, we met with the Harbor Springs Historical Society, and they are taking one of the old buildings in their town that was built in the 1880s, and they're doing a massive renovation on it, so they're in a big capital campaign. So we went in and we took some 360 imagery, got some drone footage and video content that they can now use to help educate potential donors about not only the project, but their vision. We'll be able to include in that their architectural vision of what they want to do with that space and make it an interactive experience. And we're doing that in this case, basically as a free service, because we really believe in the mission that they're doing.
And what about hosting these videos too? Because it's one thing to make them, it's another thing to host them or put them in a dedicated space, especially if you're creating dedicated websites for them. Do you host these videos on something like YouTube or Vimeo or other systems, or is that on the client ultimately to arrange for the hosting of these videos?
Yeah, no, part of our service is we host and stream the videos from an Azure dedicated data center. So you have reliable streaming capacity. And we also can do a lot of stuff that we don't even get into, like doing artificial intelligence to create transcript of your videos. We can translate your transcripts into multiple different languages if you're trying to reach a broader audience. So there's a lot of stuff we can do as the hosting agent, if that's all you need.
We're joined by Pete Stenger, co-founder of Togo Tiki Software Company, on the Megacast. More information on the website, togotiki.com, togotiki.com, for more information and to try their free trial of their interactive video software as well. Pete, are there any other technologies, too, that your company is working on outside of the 360 video and the interactive video softwares?
Well, initially, our strategy has been to make sure that we can deploy to mobile devices, PCs, Mac devices. They're the largest base of installed things. Right now, what we're looking at the head-mounted units like an Oculus and things like that, and how we can bring content and interactivity into that space too. So that's kind of on our roadmap. That's probably our next biggest technology challenge.
We're joined by Pete Stenger, co-founder of Togo Tiki Software Company, joining us on the Megacast. More information is on the website, togotiki.com. That's togotiki.com for more information. And so Pete, as we look into the future, just how more prevalent do you believe that interactive video and 360 media is going to be in the overall landscape, especially for just everyday small businesses and companies that normally aren't really dabbling into video?
I think it's going to be a big game changer. If you think about like how people interact with something like TikTok, and 7 or 8 years ago, what was TikTok? Who knew? And now it's a major delivery mechanism. I think as consumers and businesses get acquainted with interactive video and the ability to immediately react to what you're seeing and change the impact, it's going to be huge.
We're joined by Pete Stenger. He is the co-founder of Togo Tiki Software Company, joining us on the Megacast. togotiki.com. That's togotiki.com for more information. Pete, another couple minutes before we'll say goodbye today. Anything else that would be important for our audience to know or consider about your company or the services that you provide at this time?
We like to let people know if they have their own photographers or their own media, this is a great platform to work with all that. If you don't and you're concerned about that, we're happy to work with a team of people and bring in photographers, videographers, drone services, and the storyboarding. So we realize that not everybody and not all of our clients are capable of deploying this. So, we give that full width of service beyond just the software.
Togo Tiki software company can be found in Bloomfield Hills and online 24 hours a day at togotiki.com. Pete, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you, Tyler. Have a great day.
Again, all that information is togotiki.com. That is togotiki.com to learn more information and get some of those free video experiences too on a trial basis that Pete mentioned in this interview. We're going to take a break on your radio homes for the program 89.3 WBLD Orchard Lake and 88.1 WBFH Bloomfield Hills. When we come back, we'll talk to another artist to be featured in this year's Ann Arbor Art Fair. That's coming up next as we begin the Michigan Megacast.
If you are struggling to afford internet service for your household, there is a new government program that may be able to help. It's called the Affordable Connectivity Program, and it provides up to a $30 monthly discount to qualifying households. Find more information about the program, including if you qualify and how to enroll at fcc.gov/ACP or call toll-free at 877-384-2575. That's 877-384-2575.
The Greater West Bloomfield Cable Communications Commission has more information. Visit gwbcable.org.
Whether you're the city,
the county,
or the Huron River Watershed Council,
we work together to protect water resources for everyone.
Most of the pollution entering our rivers is carried by rainwater that runs off roads, parking lots, and rooftops.
A rain garden helps catch stormwater runoff.
Rain gardens and their plants help dirty runoff soak into the ground.
You can do your part to help keep our water clean.
Learn about rain gardens and native plants.
So consider a rain garden in your home landscaping.
Catch the runoff with a rain garden.
There's one water, and it's ours to protect.
I couldn't breathe at all. There was lots of talk about putting me on a ventilator. I thought I was gonna die. I was 39 weeks pregnant and had a scheduled C-section. During that time, I got COVID and was hospitalized for a month. I had a blood clot in my lungs. It caused me to go into right-sided heart failure. I was really scared. I kept texting my husband and my mom, telling them how scared I was, and I was worried that he was gonna grow up without a mom. And then I was worried if, when I did get home, that he wouldn't know who I was. You know, being 27 and a mom and a wife and having that all almost taken away from me. It's scary, and if a vaccine can prevent that from happening, why not? Get your vaccine. I don't want this to happen to anybody else.
Welcome back to the Megacast. I'm Tyler Keith. Welcome into the Michigan Megacast Hour. You can learn more information on our website, civiccentertv.com/megacast, where you'll find more information on our entire network of stations, including My Michigan TV, otherwise known as My. On Thursday, July 21st through Saturday, July 23rd, 30 blocks of the city of Ann Arbor will be consumed by the Ann Arbor Art Fair, and one of many artists who will be joining their counterparts at the Ann Arbor Art Fair is Anna Bailey, who is a wood artist at Bailey Builds and will be featured at this year's Ann Arbor Art Fair, joining us on the Michigan Megacast. Anna, thank you for being with us today.
Thank you so much for having me, Tyler. It's a pleasure.
A pleasure to have you with us too. So it's really interesting looking at your website, looking at some of your pieces. You do of course wood art, and your company is known as Bailey Builds, and so a lot of these different pieces are kind of malleable and buildable, and they come together into a full piece, but can also be in their individual pieces within that larger piece be individual art as well. So tell us about your art journey. What led you to wood art, and specifically the kind of wood art that you're producing at this time?
Yeah. Thank you so much for the question. You know, it's a really funny story, actually. I wanted patio chairs from Home Depot, and I didn't want to pay Home Depot for them. This was like 7 years ago. And so it's like, I'm equipped to make my own. So I started making a lot of furniture. And the furniture that I was making left a lot of scrap wood on the ground. And I thought, I don't want this to go to waste. And so I started to make wood art from the scrap wood from all the furniture that I was building. So like I said, that was about 7 years ago. And I had just quit my job. And I thought, you know, let's try to make this side hustle go. And so I started selling my artwork online, and at some art fairs, and it took off. And I'm really, really grateful for the opportunity to make art for a living, to support my family. And my husband actually was able to quit his job after about 2 years of me making artwork, because it was either like, I need to scale back or I need help. And so now we do this together. Our last name is Bailey. So baileybuilds.com. That's where we sell our artwork now. And the specific form of artwork now that I'm making is part of my modern collection that I started about 1.5 years ago as an ode to myself as an artist. I wanted to challenge myself to use the simplest of forms to create beautiful and intricate pieces of wood. So I just use line and circle, and by giving myself those parameters and those boundaries, I've been really able to flourish and create a lot of unique pieces.
So where does the inspiration for those pieces come from? Because you are, like you said, you're using lines and circles, and that's really your basis with the wooden pieces. And so I would think, just as a layman on the outside, not an artist that's an expert in this particular area of art, there's just only so much you can do with lines and circles. So where do these ideas come from?
Yeah, that's so good. You know, what's so great about giving yourself boundaries is that your perspective within those boundaries is infinite. And so I have been able to just really realize that everything that we look around and that we see is really literally formed from the simplest of shapes. And so it's really infinite. So I don't sketch anything out. I create in the moment. And so I have a piece of wood in front of me, and then I have a bunch of strips of wood, and I just go with it. And I kind of let the wood and the design take itself to where it wants to be. I obviously am really also inspired by like Art Deco and certain kinds of architecture, Frank Lloyd Wright, Native American design. So there definitely are inspirations that I draw from.
We're joined by Anna Bailey, wood artist at Bailey Builds, joining us on the Michigan Megacast. She's also going to be one of hundreds and hundreds of artists featured on 30 blocks of Ann Arbor this July 21st, 10 a.m. to 9 p.m., Friday, July 22nd, 10 a.m. to 9 p.m., and Saturday, July 23rd, 10 a.m. until 8 p.m. in Ann Arbor at the Ann Arbor Original Street Art Fair coming up this summer. And so you've said that you don't consider yourself an artist, you consider yourself to be a creative person making art. Where do you draw that difference between considering yourself an artist and considering yourself a creative person that is using that creativity to make art?
Yeah, I just I think that creativity exhibits itself in so many different ways. And through the course of my life, like before I started creating artwork, I was a musician. So I was writing music and performing around town. And so that was my creative outlet then. And now I've moved into this new creative outlet of creating art. It was honestly a hard thing to do. And I think a lot of artists hit the point where they're like, especially if they haven't had any formal training, where you do call yourself an artist, you kind of feel like you're a poser. But if there's anybody listening, I would really, really encourage you to own it. You know, I am definitely making a living and providing for, you know, many other people through the selling of this artwork. And so just own who you are and who you're meant to be. And if you're creating artwork, call yourself an artist.
We're joined by Anna Bailey, wood artist at Bailey Builds, joining us on the Michigan Megacast. And again, going back to the lines and the circles that you're using as that basis in the wooden pieces that you're creating, there is so much detail with that, because I would imagine too with manipulating wood into an art piece, you have to be very intricate in your cuts, in the way that you sand, in the way that and the texture that you use as well, because there are so many different lines and so many different shapes and so many different ways to present those as well. So how long does it take you to create one of these pieces, and just how intricate is that work to get the final pieces like those that are behind you for those that are watching this on TV or online, to get to that final product with that level of detail?
Yeah, that's such a good question. You know, it's so multifaceted because you have to manipulate the wood to do what you want. And if you guys know wood or have worked with wood, it has a mind of its own. And so you just never know what it's going to do. And so you kind of have to follow its lead. So I've had to learn, and this is an art form I've never seen before. So along with creating the actual artwork, which can take, one of my signature works can take weeks to complete. You also have this whole process up front as to how to manipulate the wood in the first place to get to do what you want it to do on the board. And then there's the process of once it's put together on the board, the finishing process is a lot of steps. What paints are going to adhere to it correctly? What stain is going to do what? How are we going to get it to last forever for our customers? And so it really can take, like, one of the signature works that I make, which is all pieced together, cut together, sanded. I mean, it can really take weeks until it's actually completed. And a lot of that time, it might just be sitting and curing, because you got to let it do its thing and you don't want to push it along.
And so when you're preparing for an art show like the Ann Arbor Art Fair, and you're bringing all these pieces along, you're trying to create new pieces as well that you can bring and really wow people at these various art shows. And you're traveling too. That's a lot of time to be creating art and traveling with that art, and especially, as you mentioned, giving that curing process time to manifest itself. So as you're preparing for these art shows, especially in the East and in the Midwest over the summer, where it's peak season for these, how do you then change your process to be able to accommodate both creating these pieces, but also the critical point of selling these pieces at these art shows to people that will really appreciate that art?
Yeah, when we get into art show season, it's just all hands on deck. And so I'm grateful. We actually have a team of people that work together to make it happen. So my husband and I, we support our family of 4, and then we have seven full-time employees that help make the social media happen. And so we have social media campaigns going to make sure that we get people to come out and buy artwork from us. We have somebody back in the shop working to get the wood prepped and the pieces prepped so that we can bring them to, we have art shows like every other week in the summer. So it's really been a remarkable journey of growth for our company, because to do what we do in the middle of the art show season takes a lot of people. And we have, I would say, one of the best teams around.
So if I'm hearing that correctly, you're essentially taking your studio on the road with you and creating a makeshift studio in these locations you're going to in order to continue to make this art during the peak season.
No, we aren't actually. Okay. So we always come back home. Okay. So we travel to like Ann Arbor and then we come back home. It would just be too much work. We have thought about like putting a makeshift studio up in like January in Florida so we can do all of those art shows, but it's honestly a lot of prep work. We have a lot of back stock so that we can just pull from that during our quiet months, January, February, March, so that when it's art show season, we can just go and grab the next round of art to head to the fair.
July 21st through 23rd in Ann Arbor, 30 blocks of Ann Arbor. You can find artists at their Ann Arbor Art Fair, including Anna Bailey from Bailey Builds, a wood artist, joining us on the Michigan Megacast. More information on her art, view all of her pieces, and see where she's going to be in Ann Arbor and beyond at baileybuilds.com. That's baileybuilds.com for more information on Anna and her artwork as well. And so, you mentioned that you're traveling to places such as Ann Arbor for these art shows, and then going back home to continue to create that art in between these art shows that you're doing every other week approximately throughout the summer. So where is home for you, Anna?
Yeah, we live in Duluth, Minnesota, favorite city in the world on the tip of Lake Superior.
Okay, so right next to us there in Minnesota, yep. A neighbor of us here in Michigan. So then what attracts you to Ann Arbor for that art fair? What about the Ann Arbor community and the patrons of Ann Arbor's art fair keeps you coming back for their art show?
Yeah, well, last year was my first Ann Arbor Art Fair because of COVID. There was a few years off, and then last year was the first one. We were blown away by how well the fair was run. It was by far the best organized fair we've ever done, which actually says a lot, because some fairs it's really hard. You're like walking 6 blocks to get your artwork in. And Ann Arbor, they had it figured out. We dropped our stuff off and we drove away and we set up. And also the patrons and the community there is really well educated about art. They understand it. They understand what it means to invest in handcrafted and locally made things. And so it really is our group of people at Ann Arbor. They really get what we're trying to do, how we're trying to make homes beautiful and shift culture with the arts community.
And so you mentioned that you came to Ann Arbor last year for the first time. COVID-19 had an impact on your art show schedule in the years before that. So in a blanket statement, how impactful was COVID-19 on your journey as a professional artist, as a creative? Because for so many people, they took that time that they were outside of their regular social lives and certainly their professional lives to take on more hobbies or to invest in their hobbies and their interests, including art. And so for you as a professional artist during that period of time, having that extra focus outside of the regular world or even a distraction, how did that impact your art?
Yeah, well, it required a lot of innovation, because how we had run our business previous didn't exist. And so we had to really innovate. And it also, like you said, it gave more time for us, for me to be creative and to spend time creating new things and new designs. And but from a business perspective, we really had to innovate. We had to push our online presence. We had to figure out how to reach more people in the online sphere. And we had to educate them about who we are and to get them to the point where they would want to invest in a piece of our artwork. When you're at an art fair, that's a really easy thing to do, to just connect with your patron and get to know them and tell them your story, and then they walk away with a piece of art. It's a lot harder when you're doing it over the internet.
And Michigan loves its art, Ann Arbor loves its art, and there's going to be so many great opportunities in Ann Arbor this July to meet a number of different artists, see such variety at the Ann Arbor Art Fair, including work from Anna Bailey, who joins us on the Michigan Megacast. Anna, anything else for us today we haven't mentioned that you'd like to say to our audience, especially those that may be attending the Ann Arbor Art Fair in July, before we let you go?
Just thank you for your support, Michigan. Forever and ever, we will be back if we keep getting accepted into the Ann Arbor Art Fair, because it's been such a great part of our summer show season. So we hope to see you this summer.
Anna, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you, Tyler.
We're going to take a break on the Michigan Megacast. On the other side, we will continue our conversation, as we have throughout several weeks in the past, about mental health. We'll talk to Leon Judd from NAMI Metro, the Metro Detroit chapter of the National Association on Mental Illness, coming up next on the Michigan Megacast.
We as Michiganders feel connected to this resource in a way that I think is really powerful.
Conservation starts with a caring, committed community.
For me, it's peaceful to have a relationship with the river.
Every single one of us has a role to make sure that those waterways stay safe and healthy, being careful about what goes down the storm drain.
Just even eliminating some of your single-use plastic makes a difference.
There's one water, and it's ours to protect.
Did you know that nearly 3.31 million Americans don't get their annual checkup? Going to the doctor regularly is extremely important and is a crucial factor in maintaining good health. Make sure you are visiting your local doctor often and telling them about any health concerns you have. For more information, contact your local healthcare provider. This message is brought to you by WBHS Digital Media Arts Program and 89.3 Lakes FM.
If you are struggling to afford internet service for your household, there's a new government program that may be able to help. It's called the Affordable Connectivity Program, and it provides up to a $30 monthly discount to qualifying households. Find more information about the program, including if you qualify and how to enroll at fcc.gov/ACP or call toll-free at 877-384-2575. That's 877-384-2575.
The Greater West Bloomfield Cable Communications Commission has more information. Visit gwbcable.org.
People are getting out to walk and bike in higher numbers. More vulnerable road users and higher speed traffic can be a dangerous combination. Crash severity has increased, so if you're driving, be sure to slow down and look for people. There's no need to speed. If you're biking, ride with traffic. If you're walking, avoid stepping into the road if possible. If you have to walk in the street, walk facing traffic. Learn more at walkbikedrivesafe.org.
When times get dark, we can't see the help that's all around us. When you don't know where to turn, let 211 be your guiding light.
How can I help you?
Our guides are ready to connect you with the help you need. For help with food, healthcare, mental health, and other resources, call 211 or visit 211.org. 211. Get connected, get help.
Welcome back to the Michigan Megacast. I'm Tyler Keefe. To learn more about the program by visiting civiccentertv.com, clicking on a Megacast link, or just typing in civiccentertv.com, where you can learn more information about our entire list of partnering stations, including My Michigan TV, which can also be found at mymytv.com, mymytv.com. Whether it's tapping into the resources of an organization focusing on mental health, or having discussions with your loved ones about it, or even advocating yourself and helping those in the throes of a mental health crisis, you can help in your community, and there are organizations that can help in our communities all throughout the state of Michigan in battling the stigma against mental health. And that includes the National Alliance on Mental Illness and NAMI Metro, a local chapter of that, serving Metro Oakland, Wayne, and Macomb counties. The president, Leon Judd, joins us now on the Michigan Megacast. Leon, thank you for being with us today.
Thank you, Tyler. Appreciate being here.
Yeah, glad to have you with us. Tell us first about a little bit about yourself, how you got connected with NAMI Metro, and then about your organization.
Yeah, so I am the volunteer president of NAMI Metro and the founder of the organization. I had 34 years with the National Steel Corporation and retired as vice president of human resources. And then the next day became president of an international IT company headquartered in Germany, but to run the U.S. operations. And so in terms of how I got connected with mental illness is a personal story. I have a son who was 17 when we dropped him off at the University of Pittsburgh Honors Engineering School, engineering physics, on an academic scholarship. And in his sophomore year, he had a complete psychotic break. And that was the introduction to mental illness that my wife and I and my son had, and my daughter, to mental illness. It was a very, very difficult time. First 5 years were horrible. A lot went on in those 5 years before insight was accepted. And then treatment came, and the excellent treatment that he's had. He's 47 today, doing very well, went back, got his undergraduate degree, got his master's degree. He's a cybersecurity analyst today. And so because there was very little available for family members during that time, the establishment of NAMI Metro allowed us to provide a lot of education and support and advocacy for family members who had a loved one with a mental illness.
We're joined by Leon Judd, the president of NAMI Metro, joining us on the Michigan Megacast. More information can be found on NAMImetro.com. And so you mentioned you're the volunteer president of this organization. To what extent are you working with this organization to ensure that it's providing these programs and developing new programs that are meeting the needs of the mental health of people in the metro area?
Great question. So NAMI and all of NAMIs across the country do three things fundamentally. That's education, support, and advocacy for family members as well as individuals who are struggling with a mental health condition. So we have established quite an array of support groups for family members as well as individuals. And then the other thing that we do, in addition to the education programs that we provide, we have a lot of presentations that we do in the community. We go into businesses, we go into middle schools, high schools, anywhere that is interested in learning more about mental health awareness, what some of the signs and the symptoms are, what they can do, and just to learn more about what might be available in the community through NAMI Metro and others. And the other is acting as advocates through our helplines. We're able to get people directed to the kinds of services that we think they might be needing. We are an all-volunteer organization, like I mentioned earlier. So we have no office. All the work that we do is through our homes or into the hospitals, which are temporarily, because of the pandemic, a little bit hard to make contact with. So we're hoping that that breaks loose and we can move from the Zoom meetings that we're currently doing to face-to-face, which is certainly much more personal than the Zoom.
So among the many programs provided by NAMI Metro and provided by NAMIs throughout the U.S. Is the Families in Action program. Can you tell us about the Families in Action program, what services it provides to families and to individuals suffering from mental illness, and how people can access this program?
Yeah, Tyler, the Families in Action program is a 10-week family education program that meets 10 consecutive Wednesdays, and each week is a different educational session. It is also put on by family members who have lived experience to other family members who are going through some of the struggles. We have put over 2,500 family members through this educational program. This was something that was not available when this first came to light with my wife and I. So it was one of the things that was really on our radar screen to bring and make available for family members to help them get early education as to what they can do. The overall objective of the Families in Action is to help your loved one be healthy, happy, and independent. And we've had nothing but positive feedback over the years as a result of doing that, those classes. We do it twice a year, in the spring and in the fall. The next class starts September 7th. It'll be done on Zoom again. Because we're still not able to get back into the hospital where we typically would do the family class. The advantage is that we have people that are able to come to the class that wouldn't normally be able to. Either they can't drive at night, or there are some people are even Zooming in from Florida, Ohio, other states where they have loved ones here in Michigan, but they're actually physically in another location. So it really does teach some really good tools and skills for family members to help them better deal with and help their loved one who may be having some serious problems in communications and getting along and those sorts of things.
We're joined by Leon Judd, the president of NAMI Metro, on the Michigan Megacast. More information can be found about NAMI Metro by visiting its website at NAMImetro.org. That's NAMImetro.org. And so for those that are interested in the Families in Action program and would like to join in on the next meeting of that program, or are interested in other programs through NAMI Metro, what steps do they need to take to either sign themselves up individually or sign up a family member, another loved one, or help them with that signing up process for any of these programs?
Yeah, the Families in Action is for the family members or caregivers specifically, and they can do it in two ways. They can either go online to NAMImetro.org, and on the resource tab of that website, you'll see something called Families in Action. There's a brochure that outlines the 10 weeks, and an application form to get registered, or else they can email me at leonj@namimetro.org and let me know that they're interested, and we can get them on the waiting list. We already have people on the waiting list started out for September 7th class. These have always filled up. So they're obviously of help, but a lot of word of mouth is what helps in getting other family members to register for the class.
We're joined by Leanne Judd, the president of NAMI Metro, serving the communities of Metro, Macomb, Wayne, and Oakland counties in the state of Michigan. More information can be found at namimetro.org. That's namimetro.org. And so what sort of affiliation does your organization have, or relationship does your organization have, this more localized chapter of NAMI, with the national organization? How does that communication then help to provide even better support to those in Metro, Oakland, Wayne, and Macomb counties?
Yeah, NAMI National is the largest mental health advocacy organization in the country. There is an office in every state. In Michigan, it's in Lansing, and we have 12 affiliates across the state of Michigan, including the UP. And NAMI Metro, Oakland, Wayne, and Macomb County is the one that covers those three counties. The interesting thing, or the good thing about NAMI as a national organization, is they provide the training for the signature programs that are out there for support groups, for the presentations like Ending the Silence that's taken into middle and high schools, like In Our Own Voice, which is a program where it's presented to businesses, colleges, universities. And so those programs are going to be the same no matter if you're in Michigan or if you're in California or if you're in Florida. People are going to be trained with the similar processes for these evidence-based programs. So we also do things locally here specifically. We'll get calls because it's Mental Health Awareness Month. We've had 16 events in the month of, in this month alone in May. And so there's a lot of interest, but we can also customize presentations. We may get a call from somebody wanting to do a presentation on teen depression or suicide prevention. So those are things that we can put together and bring to the community based on what it is that they have a specific interest in.
More information on programs, support groups, and the In Our Own Voice program as well by visiting namimetro.org. That's namimetro.org for more information. We're joined by Leanne Judd, the president of NAMI Metro, on the Michigan Megacast. And so as you're talking about these programs, you mentioned the training that goes into these programs. What sort of volunteer opportunities are there for people if they would like to help the organization on a volunteer basis and they don't necessarily have a need for or are seeking the services of NAMI Metro?
Yeah, we get people trained to be support group leaders for family support groups, as well as what we call connection peer-led support groups. These are, everything that NAMI does, I think I should have mentioned this, is peer-led. So if it's a family program, either education or support group, it is run by a family member who has a loved one with a mental illness. So it's lived experience, different than a professional, for example. Both are important, but different approaches and different understandings. The other is, if it's a program for someone who is struggling with a mental health condition, those programs are run by individuals who are in recovery and have been trained to either run a support group or do some of the presentations that are put out by NAMI or some of the education. So we have quite a few people trained in like In Our Own Voice and some of the presentations. We're always looking for people who are in recovery, who are comfortable with being a facilitator and trained to be a leader. So you have to be a member of NAMI Metro, number one, and that's really simple and very inexpensive to be. And you become a member actually of the state organization as well as the national organization, and you get communications from all of those organizations if you are a member. The one area that is very difficult for us to find volunteers for and get trained are young people who are in recovery from mental illness. there is a program called Ending the Silence that we have that requires 2 presenters. One is a family member and one is an individual, a young person who has got lived experience that is willing to tell their story in a fashion that is laid out by NAMI National. And it's kind of hard. I think young people have a difficult time coming forward about their recovery story. But we'll typically get 1 or 2, but we're always looking for those people. And we're always looking for people in recovery that are going to be comfortable in being a facilitator or a support group leader. This training that comes about is typically done twice a year. NAMI Michigan puts that training on, so it's in the spring and in the fall. And then we're kind of at their beck and call in terms of what trainings they're going to be putting on each in the spring and in the fall. But those are the 2 areas probably where we have the biggest need. We have people there now, but we can always use more in those 2 categories. That's support group leaders and young people to be trained to be Ending the Silence presenters.
We're joined by Leon Judd, the president of NAMI Metro, joining us on the Michigan Megacast. More information on NAMI Metro can be found at namimetro.org. That's namimetro.org. Leon, what are some other ways that if people would like to support NAMI Metro at this time, they can support the organization and the work that it does, facilitating these programs and these support groups for those suffering or in recovery from mental illness in the local area?
Yeah, the going to the website is probably one of the best ways. namimetro.org. There's an announcements page, and there's a lot of great information on the resource page. On the information links, we have probably too many links for resources there. But the 2 things that are coming up, July 31st, there is a fundraiser that is going to be the 17th year for that fundraiser. It's called Skins and Pins. Information you can get on it and sign up at skinsandpins, all one word, .org. And it is the last Sunday of July always, so it'll be July 31st. We're always looking for sponsors, and we're always looking for teams to sign up for that program. It's being held at Fox Hills Golf and Banquet Center in Plymouth, Michigan. And so we're in the midst right now working hard at getting ready for that to happen. The other thing that happens every year is the NAMI Michigan Walk. NAMI Metro has always got a large group of walkers. That walk is designed to raise awareness and raise funds.
And we are very appreciative of Leon for joining us on this edition of the Megacast. More information on all of their events for NAMI Metro can be found at namimetro.org. That is namimetro.org, and that's for all of the excitement and other activities that help support mental health all throughout the great state of Michigan. What also supports mental health in the great state of Michigan is traveling, seeing all the beautiful locations, the sights, the scenes, and all the great people in all areas of Michigan. We're joined now by Dave Scott, who is on location in northern Michigan at Shepler's Ferry en route for Mackinac. Dave, welcome.
Hi, Tyler. Can you hear me okay?
Yeah, I can
see everything?
Yeah, I can hear you fine. I can see you fine. The wind isn't getting in the way of the broadcast, which is nice, even though it's blowing everybody's hair around, the flag around, but it looks like a nice day on the water.
It is. It's a little cool here on the ferry, probably about 55 degrees, and then you got the wind blowing. I still have my shorts on. I don't know if you can actually see that or not. Probably not.
Yes.
Oh, well. They probably didn't need to see that. But no, hey, I'm on the way over to Mackinac Island. I wanted to say hi real quick. Just always cool to check in when we're traveling around the state. And give you a quick plug. Tomorrow at 6 o'clock, live on My, and you probably can get it on Civic Center TV. We will be with Dave Lorenz and Tom Dalton. Dave Lorenz from the Michigan Economic Development Corporation, Vice President of Travel Michigan, and really the number one person there and their spokesperson, along with Tom Dalton, the host of Under the Radar on Michigan public television stations. And they're going to be talking to all of the top tourist destinations around the state as we officially kick off the tourist season with a live broadcast from the incredible Mission Point Resort on Mackinac Island. Will be live tomorrow at 6 o'clock, streaming at Michigan .com, Michigan. I'm just trying to remember what the state's travel site is. Thank you.
Yes.
Michigan.org. How many commercials have I watched? And I still don't have that. Don't tell Lorenz I missed that.
I won't.
Michigan.org on my, on all of our channels. And, you know, it's just so beautiful out here. I thought I would share a minute of this with you.
And what better group of people with Dave Lorenz and Tom Dalton to talk to these different people about their different tourist attractions, different locations in Michigan, some hidden treasures throughout the state of Michigan, especially now that we're getting into those warmer months of the year. The sun has been outside. We've been waiting for this for forever. COVID-19 is not as much of a consideration, although it still is a consideration in travel. And as people are going into the summer season and heading toward the fall later on and want to travel, this is a great time to get some insight on some secret places they maybe haven't traveled before.
Absolutely. We'll be talking about everything from Port Huron, the beer town in West Michigan, to right to the Straits, and the amazing Upper Peninsula. So that happens tomorrow, 6 o'clock. Watch it live. Michigan.org, Facebook, all over Facebook Live. And just one final note before I say goodbye. I did go to Gaylord, Michigan on Sunday, shot a lot of video, talked to many of the people that were impacted. It's the darndest thing, Tyler. Tornadoes somehow always seem to find mobile home communities, and they did, and it was devastating, along with the other damage. We talked to a lot of the people impacted, and I'll be editing that up, putting together a special tribute that will air tomorrow night and encourage people to do their part. I can tell you already that there were so many volunteers in Gaylord helping out. It was really a beautiful thing. But a great tragedy, that F3 ripped right through Gaylord, much like our tornado in 1977 in West Springfield.
We've been joined by Dave Scott, my president and CEO, on his way to Mackinac on Shepler's Ferry. Dave, thank you very much.
Thanks, Tyler. See you.
Appreciate it. 6 o'clock tomorrow on My. Wednesday, 6 p.m., Dave Lorenz and Tom Dalton talking to individuals in the travel industry all throughout the state of Michigan, giving you some insight on places you can travel, places you can see all throughout the Great Lakes state this summer. We're going to take a brief break. When we come back on the other side, we'll talk to some of our favorite people over at Share Detroit. We'll be joined by their marketing and social media support individual, Kate Shupnell. Coming up next, this is the Michigan Megacast.
Parents do a lot of worrying. Get your kids caught up on childhood vaccines to protect them from these 14 preventable diseases, and you'll have 14 fewer things to worry about. Vaccines are safe and effective and save lives. So let's get caught up on vaccines and worry about something else. Get the facts at ivaccinate.org.
We may come from different organizations,
but we work together to protect the Huron River for everyone.
Most of the pollution that goes into our rivers is carried by rainwater that flows off of roads, parking lots, and rooftops.
The leaves and bark of a single tree can retain a surprising amount of rainwater. Depending on its size and species, it could be 100 gallons or more.
It is estimated that an urban forest can reduce annual runoff by up to 7%.
Here's one thing that we know can help keep our water clean.
Plant a tree.
Plant a tree.
Plant a tree.
There's one water, and it's ours to protect.
Welcome back to the Michigan Megacast. I'm Tyler Keefe. To learn more about the program by visiting our website at civiccentertv.com and clicking on our Megacast link, or simply typing in civiccentertv.com/Megacast, where to learn more about our entire network of stations, including My Michigan TV. Joining us now is Katie Shugnoll from Share Detroit, who works in their marketing and social media support department. Joining us on the Michigan Megacast. Katie, thank you for being with us today.
Hi, Tyler. Thanks for having me.
Appreciate having you on. So first, tell us a little bit about your background. What led you to be involved with Share Detroit?
Sure. Well, Jeanette Phillips was a contact of mine, and when she took over as executive director of Share Detroit a couple of years ago now, I joined the team just to support with development, marketing, insight for social media, and my background is in nonprofit leadership and recruiting. I do both of those things in other arms, including with an organization called Kids on the Go. So kind of bring that expertise as far as insight with the nonprofits to the team at Share Detroit.
And so your history working in nonprofits, and and then working with Share Detroit, bringing these nonprofits and these charities together in a way that helps each of them support each other, helps communities support them collectively, and really have that one spot they can go to look up any nonprofit or charity that's supporting something that they believe in, or supporting a group of people that may be marginalized that they really want to help. For you, having had that history working in nonprofits, how special is it to be involved in some collective like this that's now bringing together almost, and I mean literally almost 299, almost 300 charities and nonprofits in Metro Detroit?
It's very unique. It's also unique on a national basis, as you know, we're only a few cities in the country who have such a unique platform like Share Detroit that we have as a resource for our nonprofits here in the area. The key really in something that I think has really been a trend through coming out of COVID and everything over the past couple of years, the key for nonprofits for success was collaboration. So many nonprofits who were limited in resources, smaller, had to make staffing cuts, program cuts. They've relied on one another to succeed, to continue to fulfill their mission. And having the platform like Share Detroit, where you have that chance to learn about so many other organizations all in one stop, I think has both helped nonprofits grow in terms of having the resource all in one spot, but also given the community the chance to have a one-stop shop if they're interested in volunteering and attending an event, want to make a contribution as simple to something like an Amazon wish list, or simply learn more about a nonprofit that they want to get behind. So it's a wonderful platform, exciting here that we have it in Detroit and in the surrounding communities.
299 nonprofits and charities supported on the platform at sharedetroit.org, where you can learn more about each of these organizations and find more information, their websites, their history, when they were developed, the services they provide. Like Katie said, some of those Amazon wish lists of items that may be very helpful to them, either in the way that they're providing their services or in providing those items to people that they serve. All that information can be found on sharedetroit.org. And as we head into the thick of the summer months, and this is the time of year where people are recreating, they're getting out and about, they're maybe not thinking so much about more charitable contributions, which is why it's important to have efforts like Summer Share with your organization. That campaign is soon to be underway. Can you tell us about Summer Share and what the goals of this campaign are?
Sure. Well, the main message of Summer Share is that need doesn't get a vacation. So, you know, the needs of the nonprofit organizations, as you said, Tyler, nearly 300 on our platform, continue throughout the summer months. So even when we as individuals tend to slow down and take a break, they don't. So at Share Detroit, we're encouraging individuals to explore ways that you can make a difference this summer. If you've got some PTO lined up, having a staycation at home, you know, perhaps consider ways that you might be able to support an organization by giving your free time, by attending an event, or, you know, simply just taking the time just to learn about a mission that you can educate others on too, something that could become closer to your heart.
And part of this campaign that's beginning the summer, Summer Share, is a special event going on at Jimmy John's Field in Utica on June 11th. Can you tell us about that event and how people can participate?
Yes. So we're making that kind of the unofficial kickoff to summer, and certainly kicking off our summer volunteerism through that event. Tyler, as you said, it's at Jimmy John's Field on Saturday, June 11th at 6 p.m. It is a baseball game against the Birmingham Bloomfield Beavers and the Utica Unicorns. The ticket prices are $40 each, and it includes a barbecue buffet. There's opportunities for the kids. It's really a great family event. Kids will have the chance to run in the bases and meet the mascot at Jimmy John's Field too.
And what
best part? I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, please continue.
Well, I'm excited. Maybe you were going to ask this, because the best part of this event, the tickets are $40 each, but $10 of each ticket is donated to a nonprofit organization of your choice. When you go on the event website, which I'll give you in a second, you go on the event website, one of the final clicks after purchasing your tickets is designating which nonprofit organization you would like to designate $10 of each ticket to. So that's a unique opportunity where your time out for an evening out is benefiting and doing some good there too.
We're joined by Katie Shubnall, Share Detroit's marketing and social media support, joining us on the Michigan Megacast. Again, more information on everything regarding Share Detroit, as well as where you can find their 299 charities and nonprofits supported on their platform, can be found at sharedetroit.org. That is sharedetroit.org for more information. And so there is a difference between getting those tickets at the event and in checkout. As you mentioned, you get that $10 donation to any charity or nonprofit of your choice. What sort of opportunities at the kickoff event itself will there be for interaction with those charities and nonprofits if people want to learn more info?
I'm sorry, the connection was interrupted there for a second, Tyler. As you said, available for purchase at the event, but you can also purchase them ahead of time. You just visit sharedetroit.org. It's right on the homepage, and it takes you to an Eventbrite page where you can download the tickets, and they'll be directly emailed to you to your email once you purchase them.
And so what other information will people be able to obtain, or will they be able to interact with some of these charities and nonprofits at this event in Utica on June 11th? Again, it's going to be June 11th at Jimmy John's Field in Utica. Will there be more opportunities for that dialogue between the community and these charities and nonprofits on site that day if they'd like to learn more?
Yes, there will. So many of the nonprofits on our Share Detroit platform are going to be represented in person at the event. So you'll have the chance to walk around, enjoy the facility, and meet representatives from the various nonprofit organizations and learn more about their mission and the volunteer opportunities that they may have available this summer too. So it'll be an exciting event. Lots to do.
And so what sort of volunteer opportunities will also be available or be promoted through the Summer Share campaign, and especially at this in-person event in Utica on June 11th?
Well, really, we're turning it back to the nonprofits and asking them to share with us what their various needs are. I think the exciting thing is that once upon a time, volunteer opportunities were thought of as more hands-on, in-person, attending an event or doing work directly, at an organization's site. But now there's so many, opportunities where you can provide support even on a remote basis too. So we really applaud our nonprofits when they're creative and think outside of the box as far as the ways in which that they need help. And can outsource the needs that they have. So I don't want to speak to any specific nonprofit, but really, if you have interest in sharing your time but are not sure how that looks, I encourage you to attend the event and at the very least explore sharedetroit.org with all the volunteer opportunities that are available, because they are abundant and very diverse.
We're joined by Katie Shubnall, the Share Detroit, the marketing and social media support staff, for joining us on the Michigan Megacast. Again, more information on all these events and all the charities and nonprofits especially can be found on sharedetroit.org. That is sharedetroit.org for more information. Katie, any other campaigns coming up or that are underway that we should be aware of going forward, or other ways that people can help with the Summer Share campaign and really getting the word out this summer about the opportunity to learn more about these charities, learn more about these nonprofits, and of course provide support in a number of different ways?
Sure. Obviously visiting or attending the event is wonderful if you can. We'd love to see as many individuals there as we can to officially kick it off, the summer of volunteering. But visiting our website, staying up to date on our social media. There's a chance on the website you can also sign up for our newsletter. That really keeps people in the know as far as all the opportunities there are to do good throughout Detroit. We're going to be having this campaign doing good in Detroit all summer, so we're excited to share hopefully successful stories in ways in which that people have made a difference in the organizations that they've served. I do want to offer just a couple creative ideas as far as this event. We've had a few different organizations taking advantage of the opportunity. As I mentioned before, I work with Kids on the Go. We have a golf outing coming up, and we decided to, as a prize for the top golfers, purchase tickets for this event, which again, we selected our organization to get $10 back of the proceeds, but we purchased tickets for the event for a prize to be able to give to the winner, but also, use as a chance to promote this with the hope that, other individuals decide to attend too. We also had a good friend of Share Detroit, who's a big supporter of our efforts here, purchase 25 tickets that he donated to a local nonprofit to be able to use to give as gifts to their staff, to their volunteers, as a treat for a night out. So again, they were given as a gift, so they were able to distribute them, up to them as to who they wanted to give them to, but then they're also getting $10 of each of those tickets sold. So again, we encourage people to be creative as far as gifting, as far as supporting the nonprofits. You can even purchase a ticket as a donation and write a note and say, please give it back to the organization. That's an option there too. Currently, we have over 20 organizations who are signed up with tickets in their name, so they will be benefiting from this event. We're hoping to get more. We still have a few weeks left before the event, so again, hoping to get more and see lots of people there that night to kick off the summer with us.
Saturday, June 11th at Jimmy John's Field in Utica. Enjoy some baseball and learn more about some charities and nonprofits and provide some support to them as well all along in the process. Katie, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you, Tyler. Appreciate it.
All the information you need to know about the event, as well as Share Detroit and all the charities and nonprofits it supports, can be found on sharedetroit.org. Again, that is sharedetroit.org. For more information, if you scroll down, click on their Find a Nonprofit link. You can search for nonprofits in a number of different areas of service, a number of different causes. You can search for individual nonprofits altogether. You can learn more information. You can click on these links, find their websites, find their call information, their email information, volunteer opportunities, work opportunities, needs of these organizations, such as items they may need to provide their services better or provide to those that they are serving. All that information about nearly 300 charities. And when I say nearly, I mean very nearly. 299 charities and nonprofits in the Metro Detroit area can be found on sharedetroit.org. That is going to do it for this edition of the Oakland County and Michigan Megacasts. We thank you for tuning in and encourage you to go to our website at civiccentertv.com/megacast to learn more information about our entire network of stations, including My Michigan TV. Click on any of those links. You can find more information on what all these partnering TV, radio, and web outlets do in the other 22 hours of the day that they're not joining us live for the Oakland County and Michigan Megacasts. And, of course, support them in many different ways as they are supporting their local communities and our community at large with the Megacast network every single day. In addition, on our Megacast page, you can find all of our full episodes on demand and find each individual interview. So if you want to spend 2 hours with us on your own time, you can watch us at your leisure, or if there are certain topics that you're really passionate about, you can go ahead and just watch individual interviews in 15 to 20-minute bits and get all the information you need to know in an extensive manner from experts all across the Great Lakes state. I also want to give another opportunity to tease a great event coming up on My Michigan TV Wednesday at 6 p.m. Dave Lorenz and Tom Dalden. Dave Lorenz, of course, from Pure Michigan, from the Michigan from Pure Michigan, and Tom Dalden from Under the Radar Michigan, which can be found on Michigan public television stations all across the state. We'll be talking to tourist organizations and companies all across the Great Lakes state about opportunities for you to travel and see the great things Michigan has to offer this summer. That's all coming up at 6 o'clock tomorrow on My Michigan TV, mymitv.com, mymitv.com, or on their free, and I'm telling you, free apps for your smartphones and your smart TVs that you can download on a number of different app stores and learn more information, of course, where you can download those apps by visiting mymitv.com. Big thank you to our crew that makes this program possible every single day. Our technical director, Calvin Brown, with me in the studio for the full 2-hour marathon that is the Oakland County and Michigan Megacasts. Our Zoom producer, Ken Cooper, at the office of My Michigan TV in the bustling metropolis of Troy. And the king of television, Larry Nyland, our producer, helping us prepare and helping our guests prepare for informative conversations every day. On My Steve Lato is next, and then we will return tomorrow with another edition of the Megacast.